priest is set on the right hand of the majesty in heaven. Can we name one Levitical priest who sit on the right hand of the Most High? There is none. Okay? Chapter 8, verse 2.
Hebrews 8:2. A minister of the sanctuary.
He's not just on the right hand of the Most High, but he's a minister of the sanctuary. Who's in the sanctuary? The saints. The saints are in the sanctuary. And he was the one who was able to give the law unto the saints of the sanctuary. Read.
And of the true tabernacle.
And he's of the true tabernacle. The true tabernacle is Christ's tabernacle. And he's the leader of that tabernacle. Read.
Which the Lord pitched.
Man didn't pitch this tent.
And not man.
And Most High pitched this tent that Christ is the high priest of. And give the perfect law. Perfection of the covenant. Understand? Read on.
Hebrews 8:3. For every high priest is ordained to offer gifts and sacrifices.
Is it not true? Yes, it is. So if every high priest was ordained to give gifts, 1, sacrifices, 2, don't you think the greatest high priest who sit on the right hand of the Most High, who made the covenant perfect, the law perfect, changed the law from, the priesthood, from the Levitical priesthood to the Melchisedec priesthood, perfect. Don't you think he got to give gifts and sacrifice? Read.
Wherefore it is of necessity that this man have somewhat also to offer.
So it's a necessity. It was a necessity that he also had to offer something. Read on.
For if he were on earth, he should not be a priest.
Let me tell you something. If he was on earth, he couldn't be a priest. Why? Because the priest was in motion at that time. So it couldn't clad with each other. One had to be substituted or completely moved for the other one to come in. Right? So if he was on earth, he couldn't be a priest. Why? Read.
Seeing that there are priests that offer gifts according to the law.
There were already priests offering gifts according to the law. So while Christ was here, he couldn't be the priest. He was only able to be the priest once he was crucified. Once he was crucified, everything came in play. You understand? So that's why it's very big to understand the crucifixion as well. But read on.
Hebrews 8:5. Who serve unto the example and shadow of heavenly things.
So he came and showed the example of heavenly things. That's why it's perfect. Read.
As Moses was admonished of God when he was about to make the tabernacle. For see, saith he, that thou make all things according to the pattern showed to thee in the mount.
You understand? So everything, what is it saying here? Let me help you understand. What it's saying is Moses made the tabernacle according to what's in the heavens. So let's go from jump to understand. The whole priesthood, the whole law, the whole understanding of the tabernacle and how things was set from the holies to the holies and how the whole ordinances was supposed to come apart was already set and ordained in heaven. You understand? So when Christ came, he implemented what was already set in the heavens. You understand? So it was already ordained, which means you can't question it. That's just the way it is, right? Read.
Hebrews 8:6. But now have he obtained a more excellent ministry.
Okay.
By how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant.
The mediator of what?
Of a better covenant.
He's the mediator of a better covenant. Who don't want a better covenant? Who needed a better covenant? The sinners, even the saints. We all needed a better covenant because of the Levitical priesthood could not what? Bring us to perfection. And we need perfection in order to make it to the kingdom. Right? Read.
Which was established upon better promises.
Not just it was established on a better covenant, but it also gave us better promises. Christ said he's going to give us better gifts. He was going to be the better sacrifice. And not only that, he's going to give us a better promise. And that was the kingdom. Before, with the old Levitical priesthood, that was set up to bring forth the promise of the land of Israel. Christ's priesthood and laws is going to give the promise of the kingdom of heaven. That is the better covenant. That is the better promise. And that's the thing he's going to establish with the children of Israel. That's the thing he's going to establish with the world. That's the thing he's going to establish to all those who call on his name, and all those who lift up his name, and all those who proclaim the glory and the truth for the Lord, to understand the priesthood, the gospel, and understand who is the high priest. All right? Hebrews 9 and 11. Let's read that.
Hebrews 9:11. But Christ, being come an high priest of good things to come.
So Christ, we know, high priest of good things to come, because we just said a plethora of wonderful, amazing, and magnificent things that's to come. And came, and still things going to come. Keep going.
By a greater and more perfect tabernacle.
A greater, look at that. It didn't just say a greater tabernacle, but it says a greater and more perfect tabernacle. Go ahead.
Not made with hands.
Not what?
Not made with hands.
Go ahead.
That is to say, not of this building.
So it's no building. Christ's tabernacle is not subject to a building. Christ's tabernacle, Christ's church, is not subject to a church. This is why he said, with two or more gathered, there am I in the midst. That's church. You understand? That's church. Church can be on the corner, in the basement, in the biggest house, biggest church, to the smallest. The only thing that matters is the Spirit of God is there, and also do they follow the covenant of Christ that's more perfect. Right? Read on.
Hebrews 9:12. Neither by the blood of goats and calves.
So it's not established by goats and calf. It's not established by sacrifice. So let me just put something out there. If it's not established by goats and calf and sacrifice, then what is established by? You understand? What is it established by? That's a big deal right there. Go ahead.
But by his own blood.
But it was established by his own blood. So just like he said, I will make you priests. So we become the priests under the high priest. You understand? And if it's not established by goats and bulls, right? If it's not established by goats and calves and all these things that was used for sacrifice, you understand? And a lot of the things the high priest had to eat, we no longer had to eat those things. We eat. That's why we take communion, to understand the blood of Christ. You know what I'm saying? So it says, neither by the blood of goats and calves, but by his own blood. He what?
He entered in once.
He entered in what?
He entered in once.
Once. Into where?
Into the holy place.
He didn't have to keep going into the holy priest like the high priest had to do in the Levitical priesthood. Sounds like better and perfect to me. Right? Go ahead.
Having obtained eternal redemption for us.
Having obtained. That means he went in there till once and obtained eternal redemption. Like the high priest went into once for that year to get redemption for us, atonement. They had to keep going every year for the people and also themselves. So they needed something greater and better and perfect. But Christ did it one time with his own blood and obtained forever redemption, forever salvation for us. Read on.
Hebrews 9:13. For if the blood of bull and goats and ashes of an heifer sprinkled the unclean, sanctified to the purifying of the flesh.
Go ahead.
How much more shall the blood of Christ?
Ooh, how much more shall the blood of Christ, read,
who through the eternal Spirit offered himself without spot to God.
Without spot. Perfect. Go ahead.
Purge your conscience from dead works
Please.
to serve the living God.
Purge your conscience from all those dead works. The whole point of us, me and Brother Ahab, and the whole All One in Christ ministry, the whole point of us bringing this is that we must learn now to purge our conscience from dead works. From dead works. Investigate the Messiah. Investigate the priesthood. Investigate the laws. Investigate what he stands for. Pray with all things, with all supplication and prayer for the saints. We must look and watch and see what is it that God requires that we must do. And the thing that he requires today that we are teaching is to follow what he established. So one, we know that he's the perfect priest, and he is only his blood that's able to give us atonement. We learned that. So it's through his blood and his mercy and his grace, this is what we have to give to others so they can get the atonement. Read that verse again.
Hebrews 9:14.
Go ahead.
How much more shall the blood of Christ?
How much more? You understand? There's more than enough that can do it. But how much more? It only need to happen once. So you just need to come to Christ once. Go ahead.
Who through the eternal Spirit offered up himself without spot to God.
Go ahead.
Purge your conscience from dead works to serve the living God.
Please purge your conscience from dead works to serve the living God. We promise that we're going to forever keep, as long as the Lord keep us here, we're going to keep giving the works and the fruits of the Lord to help you purge those dead thoughts, dead worship, dead ways of living, dead traditions, all those dead things to serve a living God. We promise that. I'm telling you, we promise that to serve a living God. Read.
Hebrews 9:15. And for this cause, he is the mediator of the New Testament.
And then for this cause, he's the mediator of the New Testament. For this cause, for all those who are convicted to teach the blood of Christ and understand who's the high priest, whose laws that we supposed to follow for perfection, what covenant we supposed to be under. For that cause is the reason why he's the mediator. It's the reason why he's the mediator of the what?
Of the New Testament.
Of the New Testament. Christ is the mediator of the New Testament. We don't have to go nowhere else to find out how to understand the testament of God. Christ shows us. He's the mediator of the New Testament. He's the only one can talk between God and man about the New Testament or who follows the New Testament. Go ahead.
That by means of death, for the redemption of the transgressions that were under the first testament.
He did it for the redemption, for the salvation, for the saving of the sins and transgressions from the first covenant. So guess what? The Levitical priesthood couldn't give us perfection. It just couldn't do it. So we needed a better one. Read on.
They which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance.
So it say he's going to give us a better covenant, better laws. He was a better sacrifice, and he's going to give us a better promise. You know what that better promise is? Eternal inheritance of the kingdom of God.
Yes.
We thank God to be able to bring this lesson, and we will pray that we hope that you be able to cleanse your conscience from dead works. I'm Brother Gabriella, and Brother Howard. We say peace and love.
We're going to put it out there.
What you mean? Priesthood, right? What is this priesthood? I said come prepared. Come prepared? You said I'm rushing, right? I got anything, but I'm talking about the fruit, the pomegranates as well. Okay. Priesthood, brother. You need to get ready. Okay. Order air, right? No, I said order Melchisedec. No, Melchisedec. Melchisedec, yes.